Let's take a look at the structure of our application. What we need is an application which is going to allow individuals to order food, and we want to be able to adjust the inventory of our food based on the order. So we will need to create a few different objects. The first object we'll need to create is the food inventory object, which will hold the information about our inventory. The second object we'll need to create is an object which is going to take the orders from the customer. So there's a customer who has a name, and that customer can place multiple different orders, one order, however many orders, and we want to be able to take those orders. So these are two different objects. What should happen is that when the customer places an order, we should be able to deduct that order from the inventory. In order to get these two objects to work with each other, we need a junction object, which is going to be our object number 3, which is going to be the actual order. And the junction object will pick items submitted through the order and deduct them from the inventory. So the junction object is going to work with the food inventory object as well as the customer name object. So just in your mind, visualize for a second. You have one object, which is the food inventory. So this food inventory object, if you look at this slide that we have looked at earlier, just this is a different slide, but basically is the same. This is a food inventory object which would have food name, quantity available, and price in 3 different columns, but we're looking at this slide over here. So you have a food inventory object which is have the food item, quantity available, and unit price. And then you have a customer object where each one of your customers, if you're taking their order, you type in their name so that you create an order for them, or create and then within that main order they can place all multiple different types of orders. So all we do is we collect the customer name, and when we take an order for, let's say they order some frozen pizzas and maybe some frozen cheese sticks or whatever it may be, so they are going to place the order from within the customer name. So we'll be able to track each one of the customer's orders. And the object number 3 is going to work as a master detail. This is going to, so a master detail object, and this is where you will actually place the order. So when you type in the quantity, it's going to deduct the quantity from the food inventory. So this object 3 is referred to within the terminology of Salesforce. Object 3 is referred to as a junction object. And so when you want to build a relationship with 2 different objects within Salesforce, you need a junction object, and that junction object has a master detail relationship with the 2 objects that you're trying to connect. And so the masters in this case are this object number 1 and object number 2. And so object number 3 is the detail object, which can on which we create a master detail relationship. So as the class goes on, you will see what it means. So let's go ahead and create our food inventory object next, now that you have an idea of what our application is going to look like.